Live.
Welcome to the Keeping It Real show. It's Friday. Woo! Go Bucks! Go Bucks, Judd Paul. Stay tuned. We got some Ohio State fight song coming up. Hello. Hey, Tom. Hi, Julie. Yes, this is going to be an awesome night. And, of course, Brad Wellendorf, the Kansas City Forever Chief fan. Make sure you let us know where you're tuning in from. Tell us where you're tuning in from tonight. Wow, what a great show. Everybody's showing up. We like it on this Friday. I like that song so much, Tim. I'm going to play it one more time.
Okay.
It's a good Friday feeling song, man. Tell us where you're tuning in from tonight.
Florida, Texas, Ohio, Minnesota. Ohio strong.
I-O.
Ohio.
Welcome to the Keeping It Real show. In case you're just joining us.
For life.
You see that, Tim, from Lori? 3 hours west of downtown Reedley.
For life. Not lit up. Go to Lori Crow.
Lori Crow, that's right. Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Louisiana. Wow.
The Kamikaze Cowboy, the Sukiyaki Jockey, the MOT, the Man of Trail, Tim Kimura, and the man behind the wheel at Keeping It Real, Brad Jewett. We love seeing Australia in the house. Judd Paul, lots of Buckeyes in the house. I love it.
Lots of Buckeyes in the house tonight.
Woo!
2 minutes.
Countdown has begun. Got to start this over again. I just love the beginning. The Kamikaze Cowboy, the Sukiyaki Jockey, the MOT, the Man of Trail, Tim Kimura, and the man behind the wheel at Keeping It Real, Brad Jewett. Great show coming up tonight. We're a minute away from getting kicked off here. Hang on, keep telling us where you're coming in from. We're well over the century mark tonight on our viewership already before we've even started the show. If that's any kind of prequel as to what we're going to get to hear tonight. Seconds. I'm Brad Jewett.
I'm Tim, the Trail Man.
Keeping it real.
And now, Brad and Tim.
Tell me when we're back in, guys.
We're back in, Timmy. We are live. It is 7 o'clock. Straight up. I love it. I love being on time.
Wow. We're getting so much better at that.
How's your Friday been, Tim?
Very good. Very, very good. I went to Target today.
Hey, make sure we can hear your mic loud and clear, man. I don't know if it's muffled. It's on your chest. I think you're using your earphones tonight. Make sure make sure it's turned up.
How's that?
Yes.
That? 1, 2, go.
Yes. All right. So go ahead. Tell us how your Friday was today, Tim.
Went to Target today and did a little shopping real quick, and then came home and did doggy daycare. Talked to Mr. Steve Meadows today, and then worked on our schedule for tonight. So
good. How about that? So Monday, you just told everybody who's coming in. Who is it? No, go ahead.
Steve Meadows. He's in the house.
Yeah, Meadows is going to be in the house.
Yeah, he was just.
Yeah, we had a great pre-interview with him today, and so much there to talk about as always. And then on Wednesday, we have Aaron Moses, Andy Cochran, and Miss Katie Jo Zeidema joining us for a little pleasure 101, well, however you want to see it. We'll obviously try to take some questions, but we have a lot we want to ask them with what's been going on with in their lives since this virus has kind of taken us all by storm. And then on Friday, Tim, who do we have?
Miss Leslie Lang from Greeley, Colorado. Miss Bear will be in the house.
So
great friends. Yes.
Great week. And of course, Type the Topic Thursday. We always jump over Type the Topic Thursday, but it's one of the most watched shows because we get so much input from you guys, and we get to answer questions. We have a lot of fun. We laugh, we joke, but we also get to some really serious things to talk about. Get to ask from a judge's point of view, the trail man's point of view. And again, we are on board for this call-in piece too. So we're going to keep playing with that. I'm always nervous about adding new technology because I'm just not super good at it. But thankfully, Mr. Kona, I don't know if you can pop in. We got a great
Kona Cam, where you at?
Kona Cam, if you can pop yourself in there somewhere and say, hey, that'd be awesome. Let everybody see you. There you go. New haircut there and all.
Wow.
Nice.
Where'd you get your haircut at? Who gave you the haircut?
Your microphone's off.
Oh. Help us.
He's good.
Woo, wow. You're lucky, man. Lucky guy. Wow, you're looking good, man. They all shave up when they come to this show. It's funny. They all clean up. It's all good. Friday, though. We might be at date night tonight. You never know. Friday night, right? Let's go. Let's bring them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have Mr. Justin Billings in the house. Conan, let's bring Justin in. If you don't recognize the music, here we go. I got one more.
Yeah.
There we go. I love this drum part right there. Hey! It's a Buckeye Friday on the Keeping It
Friday.
I like it.
Wait.
Wow.
Yeah. Lots of Buckeyes in the house, Justin. Lots of Buckeyes, man. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, Justin. We love your backdrop, and no, that is not fake, ladies and gentlemen. That is real behind Justin. It's gorgeous there in Ohio.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back in the Buckeye State. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little rough, I bet you, in Amarillo compared to Ohio, right? Not a lot of Buckeye fans in Amarillo, are there?
No, they pick on me at the office because I'm one of the few Yankees there.
Wow.
And they certainly cut me no slack for being a Buckeye, that's for sure.
And you know what? There's a lot of AQHA staff members in here tonight.
All right.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So, okay, let's. I'm going to just dive in. So, can you just basically tell everyone about your childhood, where you were born, and how you first started getting into horses?
Oh, absolutely. But first, I have to give Tim, you, and Brad, Kona, and Monica props for this platform. And thank you all for what you're doing. You're keeping the horse show family together. And you guys are the real rock stars. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I'm excited to see where this goes, even once we get past the coronavirus. So kudos to you all for doing this.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Job well done.
Very, very humbled by you saying that.
Yes.
I tell you what, I'd be remiss too if I didn't give a shout out to one of my partners in crime, Miss Heidi Lane. She introduced me to the show and is one of the OG watchers of Keeping It Real. So
absolutely right.
Shout out to Miss Heidi.
I'm sure she helped you and gave some tips for today.
She did. She was coaching me earlier today, so I certainly appreciate that.
Lots of rapid fire questions. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Go ahead. Jump in.
Yeah, where it all started. So
Yeah.
I was a horse crazy kid. I can remember the first horse my family ever purchased is from my older sister, Jennifer. And it was a 2-year-old quarter horse mare. And Jenny got her for her 7th birthday. And we still laugh about this, but she looked out the window of the house and my parents had Ginger, as we called her, out in the field. And Jenny thought she was a deer of all things. And I can tell you, my parents, they got the idea to clip Ginger. So they went to Farm and Fleet, bought some clippers, brought them home, and brought Ginger up to the back porch of the house. And we had some furniture, some pretty heavy duty furniture on the back porch, and my dad tied Ginger off to one of the chairs, and he flips on the clippers. And Ginger takes off running through the field. And I just remember as a kid seeing that lawn chair just banging and breaking into pieces as Ginger took off running. So certainly from humble beginnings, that's for sure. And from a family that first generation horse owners and horse lovers. So I got my start, as many do, within the 4-H program. And that segued into me starting in quarter horse, and I rode with Art O'Brien as a youth growing up, and Art was and is a mentor of mine to this day. A great human man of integrity and someone that I look up to. And there you go, got some pictures. So Art took me to my first youth world in 1994. You can see the picture on the left.
Yeah.
I took a Sorrel gelding, T-tie tailwind, and it was my first horse. He lived his life out here at the farm, and I was fortunate enough that year I ended up 5th in the trail out in Fort Worth. And I could say if there was ever a point that I became a lifer and hooked on AQHA and all things quarter horse, it was that year at the Youth World Show in 1994. And that picture at the top there, that's Art Stalls. I believe that was at the Congress. And funny fact, the little girl beside me and Ty, that's Jessica Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah, of all things, yeah. Little Jessie Johnson there. And the picture below that, that's from the Blue Ribbon Circuit. And still to this day, probably one of the best trips my family and I took together. Took 3 days. We did 10 hours a day driving out there with the horses, and still talk about how enjoyable that trip was.
So tell us a little bit about the 96 picture. There's a little bit of trivia that goes on with that picture, right? There is.
That, of all things, that was in 96, said, but that was the year that AJQHA became AQHYA. Yeah. And I still remember it. Tim designed a trail course that spelled out AQHYA. Yep, there it is.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
How creative is our trail course designer?
What's that? 24 years ago, you guys. 24 years.
Go Tim. I remember that course to this day and how neat it was. And of course, with the name change and being able to compete on a course that spelled AQHYA. That was back in the day. I grew up showing against the likes of Joetta Meredith and Weeby Jetton and Kerry Russum and Quincy Cahill, Lisa Greenwell. Just an incredible group of youth competitors I grew up having the chance to show against. And to this day, I still remember out at the Youth World in Fort Worth, Katie Good, she came in on One Red Hot Zip and is in the Western Riding. And the crowd's talking like they typically do, and she gets up to her first lead change. and Red Hot just knocks it out of the park and make your mouth drop. Yeah. And the crowd went silent, and she finishes her Western riding pattern. Of course, wins the class. And I bought the VHS tape just so I could rewatch that go. Still have it.
How cool is that? How cool is that?
Yeah, it was one of the neatest Western riding patterns I'd ever seen. And such a cool horse that stuck out in my youth years growing up. And that was some of the best times, even to this day, growing up as a kid, showing quarter horse and how much that meant to me, meant to my family. My dad, he'll say, I drove you kids all over the country. And he really did. I mean, we went horse show to horse show. And it was a way, my friends were trying to get away from their parents. And we were hanging out as a family on the weekends at the horse shows. And it brought us closer together. And one of the things that I absolutely love about AQHA and the show program and what it meant to me and what it's meant to so many other people growing up. So there's the family pictures. It's my older sister in the top left, Jennifer. She was the first one that got Ginger back in the day. Then to the right of that's my younger sister and I competing at the Findlay Extravaganza show. It was a real special day. We ended up champion and reserve champion. Bottom right's my parents. That was graduation day. They certainly mean the world to me and are the reason I'm here in Ohio now, visiting them and getting to spend some time with family. And then bottom left, that's the next generation. Those are my nephews. That is little Brian and Blaine. And they've got a pony now. Jesse James, they ride all over the farm.
Wow.
So, yep, we're training them up to be the next group. So,
and then, where'd you go to school at? I hate to ask.
I'm a Buckeye. I bleed scarlet and gray. Went to school there. Studied in the finance program in equine science, and to this day, still bleed scarlet and gray. They certainly held their own in the draft, 1, 2, and 3, in the NFL draft. So something we're proud of here in Buckeye country.
So how about telling us about your early days, like in business, and what you did when you grew up and were working?
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. So I showed horses growing up. Also started working for my family's construction company. I think I was 14 years old. And my dad trained me up through the business in all different aspects. So I started washing trucks. I cleaned the office in the evenings, did about every job there, project management, accounts payable, accounts receivable, did payroll, eventually ended up starting a non-union division of that company and grew it for 2 years. And then that company sold and decided to focus my efforts on my true love of horses. And I got part of my college years during that same time. One of my business classes, I interviewed Ann Myers, and I wanted to find out what Ann's secret to success was. And Ann, I still remember this conversation, and it stuck with me to this day, that she said everyone loves something for free. And of course, she is talking about her chocolate chip cookies and Zips chocolate chip. So that conversation led to many things for me. One of the best horses I ever owned, there she is, Chocolate Illusions. So she was the last foal out of Ann's great Hall of Fame mare, I'm a Blister Bug. So the mother of Zippo by Moonlight, Zippo LTD, Chips Hot Chocolate, and a few other Congress and world champions. And she was her last foal. She's an orphan foal. Actually, I'm a Blister Bug passed away having Laney. So I tried my best to get her from Ann, and I couldn't at first, but eventually wore her down, and she sold her to me. And Laney ended up being the foundation of our breeding program to this day. Still lives here at the farm. My parents had told me I could have a horse or a car, and I chose Laney. Her first baby actually ended up being a reserve world champion himself, and he sold and helped buy a car, actually. So it all worked out in the end.
Hang on, I lost me.
Are you there, Timmy?
Yeah, I think so. Did I lose me? Did I mute myself?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Sorry about that,
guys.
Yeah, no problem. You still got me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
All right.
When you, I just really quickly, I was just curious if you can, with that story, can you talk about your pedigree story? Because I thought that was very intriguing.
Hey, well,
What? Did I miss one?
well, no, I'm just thinking because Dan Trine just logged in, and we were talking about yesterday or day before when we were interviewing Justin about
how you admired him.
Yeah, the T-shirts, the jacket, or whatever that he tell that story real quick, Justin. This was awesome.
So I
Fix that light.
I was mesmerized. As a kid, I'd get the journal and flip through the pages and always looked up to the professional horsemen and Dan. Of course, he was from Ohio and someone I looked up to as well. And he had a mare, Larry Shady Lady, and Dan would get her out at the shows, and anytime he would ride that mare, I'd follow him and follow him back to the stalls. I thought she was just the coolest horse, and her owner, Terry Vassick, could not convince her to sell Larry Shady Lady, but Terry did let me show one of her foals. I'm very fortunate and thankful for that. But Dan, I looked up to Dan, and I remember one of my Christmas list items to my parents was show shirts like Dan Trine.
Right.
I wanted to look like Dan when I was in the show pen.
Oh, I love it.
And funny story there about Dan is we were competing at the Congress. This is years ago, and it was in the Senior Trail. And it was on that Sorrel Gelding T-Tide Tailwind. And I go in the class, and I believe it was in the Coliseum that year. And I go through the trail pattern, and I don't know how I did it, but I ended up going off course. But as Dan describes it, it was so slick. It was like it was meant. It was part of the pattern. And Dan was after me, and he's watching me show. And he follows suit and follows the same path that I went. So he still gives me a hard time about that.
Wow. Okay, so from there, can you talk about the Ohio Quarter Horse Association?
Oh, yeah. Yes. It's my home affiliate.
Right.
To this day, I'm still a big believer in the AQHA affiliate program. It's essentially AQHA just at the state level. And I grew up within Ohio Quarter Horse, started serving as a youth director when I was 14 years old, up through the amateur program as director and through the ranks there. And still to this day, I volunteer my time with the open board because I truly believe in what the affiliate program means to AQHA. And as you can see there in the picture on the right, that was at the Ohio Banquet with Dr. Scott Myers and Norm Luba, certainly mentors of mine. And then on the left, we've got Mr. Banks and his wife, Lena. Three very powerful AQHA executive committee members that love the horse show industry and have us as showing members of AQHA have our best interests at heart. So I'm thankful to be working at the association at a time when we have an EC that cares so much about the horse show industry.
You bet.
Okay, so I'm really curious to tell us the Buckeye story because it's Buckeye time. So
yes. Miss Patty Carter, she is in large part the reason why I ended up at AQHA. And I'd have to back up a little bit. So right around the time I finished college and stepped away from the construction world, I got into horse show management. And me and a crazy group of volunteers, we started a show called the Buckeye Classic. And served within 2 years, I believe the show had reached top 10 status. And just a great group of volunteers that worked and produced that show, and something I'm very proud of. And this circles back to Ann Myers and our discussions about everyone loves something for free. And that stuck with me from that interview. And I'm thinking about how can we build this horse show to have a real impact. And we went free. We gave free entries to youth and amateur exhibitors. And I want to say by the end of the run, we'd given $250,000 away in free youth and amateur entries to attract the grassroots exhibitors that wanted to try an AQHA event. So I'm proud of those efforts. The picture on the donkey is we had a donkey race one evening at the Buckeye Classic, and I got to give credit to Melissa Street, who headed up those efforts. Yep. And we raised over $30,000 that night for veterans. And I got certainly got thrown off there and was embarrassed, but well worth the embarrassment, because it helped a close friend of mine, Heath Robinson. He's a veteran. He's a young guy, 38 years old, 2-time Soldier of the Year. He's married, got a young daughter, and he's battling lung cancer right now and fighting for his life. And he was one of the beneficiaries of that money that was raised that night. So that sticks out as one of the highlights of what we accomplished at the Buckeye Classic outside of the show itself.
Touch a little bit. You said a word yesterday that I am 100% on board with, and I think everybody watching is too. And you said the word kind of synonymous with AQHA is community. Talk about what AQHA and the word community, how you kind of draw that together, because it was really, I loved what you said.
It's and that's what this show does. It brings the AQHA community together. And why we're not together at actual events in person, we are, and as cliche as this sounds, we really are a family. And that's one of the things that I love about the horse industry, about AQHA in particular, is that there's a level of comfort when you're at a horse show, when you're interacting with your friends within the AQHA community. And something that I'm grateful and very happy to be a part of from a young age, and still to this day, that there is very much a sense of community. And
I love how that ties into the fundraiser with you on the donkey there, and just being able to raise $30,000 for something like that. I mean, people truly believe, and they want to get behind so many of those kind of. The other night we raised $2,000 with two hats to go towards the AQHA and the NSBA crisis funds. So, I mean, just that kind of community. I love to see the generosity that we get out of our community. Keep using that word.
Yeah, I was there too. I did one of the donkeys that night too.
I wasn't very good. Did you stay on it?
Yeah, I did. I had help though, but
yeah.
Because I have a feeling the next picture we would have seen there with Justin would have been on the ground.
Yes.
How about my friend Patty Carter?
So Miss Patty, a very special lady, and someone I always say I want to be like Patty Carter when I grow up. She's a lot of the reason why I ended up at AQHA and have had the opportunity to be part of the association. So Patty came to the Buckeye Classic, and it was my job to take her around to the show and tell her what it was all about. And I'm bragging on the team and what we've been able to accomplish at the show with the free entry program. And Patty, she kindly says, "Hey, what do you think about coming to work for AQHA?" And I thought she was just being nice to me. And I said, sure. Yeah, I'd love to come to work for AQHA. Kind of left it at that. Well, it came up later in the year at the Congress, and turned into me applying to join the AQHA team. Something I certainly never expected would happen. Never thought I would have the opportunity to serve and work for the association. So Patty's the start. She's the one that helped make that happen. So I'll be forever grateful for that, and grateful for her friendship and the leadership that she shows within the judge program.
Patty's a very good friend of mine too. I know what you're talking about. She's a special lady. So from there, can you kind of help me get into AQHA now, like how you made the decisions and what happens next?
Sure. Yeah. So I started officially with AQHA in April of 2017, and I'll never forget this day either. Karen McQuistion and I, we started the same day, and we still laugh about this. If we'd only known. So Karen's a special lady as well, and one of my close colleagues at work, and also a close friend. And Karen and I, we started the same day in April of 17, and I worked as the manager of shows. So at that time, Charlie Hemphill was my boss, and and you'll see a theme here. The horse industry, AQHA, the staff, it's a great group of people, and outside of what they do for the association, but just good people. And Charlie Hemphill is certainly one of them. He's an encyclopedia on all things AQHA, and someone that I learned quite a bit from during my time working for him. And Charlie, he retired, and then I had the opportunity to step up into his job as director of shows, and that was in January of last year. And took on more responsibilities at that time. I was responsible for the Level 1 championship shows. Had the opportunity to introduce the 13 and under classes at the Youth World and steer that program. Was able to work with our corporate partner team, and we got the Adequan Level 2 division added to our regional championship shows, and that was something that I was responsible for. So
at the beginning, there's a lot, because I watched you work. You had to do a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Sure.
At the World Show and all the shit. I mean, I've been there. I get it. So at the beginning, you had to. I saw you everywhere. I mean, everyone goes everywhere, but like you and I had to do a lot of stuff together, and I get it. It's quite the journey, that first part of it. I mean, there's a lot to see and figure out at the beginning.
It is. That's critical time. And that's how my dad brought me up through the business world, is you need to learn all facets of the business that you're working for, so that when you are in a leadership role, you understand how things work. So those first few years at AQHA were critical for me understanding the inner workings of AQHA, so that I can help make decisions and understand why things work the way they do.
So, like during that time, were there changes in AQHA, or tell me what you were seeing, or I don't know if it's making it better, or what you need to step in, and when you change jobs from manager of shows to director of shows, what's your mindset at that time?
It was a trying time for the association as a whole, because we introduced the new computer system and phone system and website, and all the challenges that moving 500 million records over from a green screen that was built for use in the 70s to now we have a web-based computer system that's allowed us to work remotely during the coronavirus pandemic. So it was painful, and there's still some lingering effects of the system that we deal with, but certainly headed in the right direction. And something that really challenged the association for the year after the new computer was launched is everything you realize, and even our chief technology officer came from T-Mobile, and he said, "I've never seen anything like this. So that's so interconnected." I mean, the leveling job itself looks at 200 million records. It's got 49 million records of output, and just blew Barry's mind. He said, "I've never seen anything like it." And it was a year of challenges of trying to connect all the wires of what 500 million records look like, and the frustration of not being able to serve the members at the level that we wanted to, at the level that the members deserve. So it certainly was something I never want to go through again, and any of the staff members here tonight would tell you the same thing. But I can, on a positive note, we are certainly headed in the right direction. And if you look on Facebook on Mondays, our member experience team puts up a weekend review, and it lists how many transactions, how many certificates were printed. I mean, this is multiple thousands of certificates a week. How many phone calls were answered? On an average Monday, you're looking at over 1,000 phone calls that go through the call center. Wow. And what were hours of wait time have been now reduced to minutes. So while we're not there yet, we're certainly headed in the right direction.
Right.
A staff's perspective that cares about the customers, that means a lot to us too.
I think that's part of the vision too, right? Just trying to help the customer right now. So, Okay, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, Bradford.
Uh-oh.
That time, Justin.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you know what? I had the wrong one queued.
Oh, sorry. I'm so excited to do these.
We're not mysterious about anything there. We're about here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Rapid Fire.
Okay. Okay, Justin.
All right. Comes our laid back fun time. Let your hair down.
Okay, here goes. Question number 1. If you had a rock and roll band play at your birthday party, who would you choose?
Oh my goodness. I'd have to go with Led Zeppelin.
There you go. On an average, how many times a day this past week did you check or read your email? 5 or less, 6 to 10, more than 10 times a day?
More than 10 times an hour. The emails, they give me PTSD. They just come through and they ding, 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 ding.
When you were a young boy, what did you want to grow up to be?
I wanted to be in the Air Force. So Top Gun was my favorite movie and still is to this day.
Oh, yeah.
So, I wanted to be in the Air Force.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, right.
Where's the last place you went out to dinner before the quarantine? And what was the occasion?
Well, fun fact, I eat out most all meals. So I've been using DoorDash and Uber Eats. I'm living the true bachelor life. So I have not slowed down my support of restaurants. That's for sure.
Okay. What word or phrase do you say a lot?
My buddies would say that I use legit a lot, and I don't realize I do it. But that
too legit to quit.
Yeah, there you go. Little MC Hammer.
So if a movie were made about your life, what actor would you choose to be Justin Billings?
Ooh, good question, Tim.
Well, I don't know if this is good or bad, but Forrest Gump came to mind immediately.
So Tom Hanks, you're saying Tom Hanks, right?
Tom Hanks.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, there you go.
What app on your phone do you spend most of the time on after work?
App. I like, the nerd in me would say the news app. Probably YouTube. Okay. There's a couple shows that I watch on YouTube, so I'd say YouTube.
What do you and your sisters have most in common?
A strong sense of family. I mean, we have each other's backs till the end. So I would say that in common, that we'll stand up for each other no matter what.
2 more.
Awesome. Back
in Amarillo, I love this question. What's the last thing you cooked in your oven?
I've never used my oven.
Are you serious?
So funny fact, I bought a house here, and before I moved to Amarillo, I'm packing up and open the oven, and the instructions are still in there. So I lived there for 10 years.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're giving that up. Okay.
That's awesome.
Last question. Name something you would like to do on your bucket list.
On my bucket list, I'd say I've never been to Hawaii, and I've wanted to go there for a while. And there is a AQHA show or 2 there, so I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen.
Okay, good job, good answers tonight. You did good.
Really good. Great questions too, Tim. I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that we will take a little pause and thank our sponsors. We do have some new sponsors, so thank you. So pay attention to the board. We couldn't do this without them.
Good job, Justin.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
So we'll just go into the big. Okay?
Keeping it real
is
brought to you by
Osher your responsibilities or duties, and then you're going to restructuring and staff it, and you're going to talk to me.
Letchworth,
Okay?
Bits and Spurs.
All right, let's do it.
Give you the ball, and you're going to just run with it.
Chauffeur
For future, Tim, wait till you see
Silver
the
Dollar
commercials on for you. Lead into
Horseman's Future. Unishippers.
5 seconds.
Machine Made. Winning Couture.
Winning Couture.
I lost some of my lighting here. I don't know what happened, but
All right, we're back live.
Okay. Oh, you're good there. Looks good.
Oh yeah, Justin, you look great.
Yeah.
Forrest, you look great.
Forrest Gump.
Thank you.
Okay.
Those are some great answers, man.
Yeah.
We have a lot left. Everybody. Put your seatbelt on. Grab you, fill your wine glass up a little bit more. Relax, kick your feet up. We've got a lot of AQHA information coming. Okay, Tim.
Okay, Justin. Tell me about your new duties as Chief Show Officer. What's your responsibilities, and tell us about your job.
So I had the opportunity January of this year to move up to and serve in the Chief Show Officer role. And what we did almost immediately out of the gate, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my boss and our CFO and COO, Aaron Bovos, who he shows horses, came to us from the city of Fort Worth. He was their CFO, actually. And Aaron came to AQHA. He won the Congress, I believe, in the twos also. So certainly understands the showing side of AQHA and the business side. And that's what I wanted to acknowledge. So he challenged us as a show department to not only look at the show side of what we do, but to look at the business side of what we do, and truly operate as a business unit. And that's something that we as a show team talk about daily, and much more focused on the business side of decisions and how they impact the association, and the cost associated with certain decisions, and revenue associated with decisions as well. So along those lines, he challenged us to take a look at restructuring the department, and that's what we did. So it became evident to us that we were trying to be too many things to the members, and we're not focused on the task at hand. And what I mean by that, we needed to have laser-like focus on show-related activities. So we restructured. We have 4 areas of focus now. We've got the judge program, Judge and Stewards, that Miss Patty Carter heads up, doing an exceptional job with her online judge training program. You'll see some new additions there. I know she mentioned them last week with a la carte options for the members, and Terry Lovelady and Sydney Reynolds that support her efforts. So great things happening in the judge department. I got to be part of some phone calls with focus groups. So Patty's invited the top 10 exhibitors from the youth, amateur, and select worlds to participate on calls about drawing patterns and getting inspiration on certain maneuvers that they like, and that could be showcased more at the world show level. So very innovative and exciting things happening in the judge program. So that's area 1. Area 2 is our championship shows. So we've got a knockout team in Jarrett Hardy there. He's one of the newest members of the show department. He came to us from the equine production at the Abel's group.
Yeah.
And Jarrett's heading up our championship shows, along with he's got help from Miss Heidi Lane as well. So that's the dynamic duo within championship shows.
Team right there.
And some exciting developments coming. Some I can share with you tonight, and some I'm not going to be able to, from the championship show front. And one that you saw today come out this afternoon is the combination of level 1 classes with their respective world shows, and something that we're excited about, and can't wait to get to at the Youth World Show. So some other improvements that you're going to see from Jarrett and Heidi in their area is we're and I read this in a World Show survey, and it stuck with me ever since I read it, and it was like nails on a chalkboard. But the comment was that it feels like the World Shows had gone on autopilot, and that we were resting on our laurels and not being innovative and not keeping up with the times. And that when I read that has stuck with me, and it's part and shapes the discussions we have about the championship shows, is not resting on our laurels and keeping them innovative. So you're going to see it's as simple as branding an AQHA produced show to when an exhibitor pulls in, there's going to be a concierge type feel of you're welcomed at the gate. Here's a welcome gift. Here's some things to do in the area. Let us help you get unloaded. And more so of a white glove type service, because what we recognized is our members are using their vacation time to come to our championship shows. So we want to create more of a vacation-like feel when they're at those shows, and that could be anything from progressive barn parties, parties hosted by AQHA. At the Open and select world shows, you're going to see more bar areas with TVs, just a different feel. You're going to see the trade show come over from the Bennett Event Center and be around the Coliseum, something that we've been asked for by the vendors and exhibitors for a while now, and you're going to see that change happen this year. What you're also going to see is we're working on a gym wear horse sale the first weekend of the World Show. Working horse sale. We're going to tailor some of the speed event and cattle classes around that sale. Have about 500 horses run through that event and bring some new folks to the World Show. We're working on a Cowboy Christmas. So a lot like the PBR's event out in Vegas, but quarter horse Christmas. And we have that's slated for the middle weekend of the World Show. So we're looking forward to bringing some new events, new spectators. We did an economic study on those two events alone, and it's estimated it could bring upwards of 15,000 spectators. So we're wanting more excitement around our championship shows, more buzz in the air, and certainly something that Heidi and Jared are working hard on delivering for us.
Well, and as I mentioned it, Patty, as well, that it's super impressive, very exciting, the stuff that you just shared with us, what's going to be happening at the Youth Worlds. But I have to feel like the team that AQHA has built right now, and we have you on tonight, so I'll talk about going all the way back when you were talking about getting that VHS tape and watching that Western Riding run that you wanted to just watch how that was so fun to watch. And now we have a guy that's passionate about this as a youth exhibitor, and now we're moving forward. I won't say how old you are. Moving forward years. and we have this group of people that are helping us form more exhibitor friendly, more excitement, more interaction between the exhibitor and those that are spectating as well, which is going to be magic in a sense, is what I'm kind of feeling as all of you are putting your heads together, is what can we do, like you say, to stay forward moving in this process and not just allow Father Time to just kill us and then have to try to play catch up, but actually trying to stay ahead of the game here. And so it's really exciting, everything that you're saying. And I think it's safe to say that we're all, as AQHA exhibitors, in really, really good hands, and as good a hands, not taking anything away from the past people that have been a part of our association at all, but just as someone who, this is my livelihood, whether it's my training and coaching or doing the show, AQHA is my livelihood. And so to know that our future is in your hands, it just feels very comforting, I just got to say.
Can I interject one more thing too here at this spot? Same thing I think Patty was talking about the other day too. You know, as everyone moves up the chain line and you give up your old job, you want someone to take that job and run with it. You want them to make that job better than how you created. But there has to be someone in front to be the trailblazer. Yep. And then you want the guy who takes your job to do a better job than you did, because you want to get better and better. So we've had these other people in place, and now the next generation of people need to make it better. It's not that they did a bad job. It's just like, okay, I broke trail here. Now you have another opportunity to make it even better, no matter what job we're talking about in AQHA.
Yeah.
So very well said. So we're standing on the shoulders of those that came before us,
all day long,
and taking what they built to the next level. Absolutely, it's important that we respect what's been done before we got here.
Right, for sure. So I think this is a spot, if you don't mind, talking about the changes from your world shows for this year that that came out today, and maybe you can expound upon it and go there maybe?
Absolutely. So I'd mentioned that we, unfortunately, our level 1 championship shows this spring had to be canceled due to the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. And that was hard to do. I certainly never thought that one of my first responsibilities as chief show officer would be to cancel a championship show, let alone 3 of them. So that was hard for me personally, hard for our team, and I know hard on our exhibitors also. So from almost immediately, and really before that, we had been asked about considering holding the level 1 championship classes at the world shows. So and you'll see this theme not only through this decision, but other decisions that you see coming down the pipe from the show team and AQHA as a whole. But it's important that when our members speak, we listen. And our members were telling us, our customers were telling us they wanted to have the level 1 classes later in the world show. So later in the year, at the world shows. So that's a proposal we took to our executive committee. There's 5 gentlemen on that EC. You saw 3 of them earlier, and we took it to them last week on Thursday, and we got the green light to move forward with putting the respective level 1 classes into the world shows. So what that'll look like is at Youth World, you'll now have level 1 youth classes to compete in, and you will not have lost out on the opportunity to earn a level 1 championship this year. No different than at Select World with select level 1 classes and amateur level 1 at Amateur World Show. So it's something that we're excited to be able to do. It's something that our customers, our members asked us to do. And I think we're hopeful, what we've heard so far, that it certainly has been received well thus far. And
I see it totally being a huge benefit for multiple reasons, and I'll just talk about the youth world, but it'll trickle to the select and the amateur as well. But how it will bring new spectators, if nothing else, right? Because these novices, or I should say level 1s, may be a little scared this year to show at the youth world. Some of them may throw their hat in the ring and go, you know what, I'm here, I'm going to do it anyway. But I think it's going to open up that window for our every week shows that we have, not just the world show, your weekend show. Those people are going to I want to earn my place to go back to the youth world because I really enjoy myself. I want to be in that world championship arena, in vying for that championship level 2, level 3 trophy, right? So I think I don't really see a negative, to be honest with you. See so many positives to it, and I think most everybody is going to be super excited about it. And from a cost standpoint, I would think from AQHA would be excited as well, because now we're able to integrate 3 more shows into facilities that you already have. Is that correct? And then maybe talk a little bit about schedules. Are you looking to expand the length of these world shows, or are you going to be able to fit these in at the same time? If you can, whatever and that you can share there.
Sure, those are great points, Brad. So from a business model standpoint, it certainly makes good sense, just from economies of scale and what it would look like holding level 1 classes at a facility that you've already rented, with judges that you've already have there, with the staff that you have there, with vendors that you have there. So it makes a lot of sense just from an efficiency standpoint and from an economies of scale. And one thing that that's been important to the show department is that when we welcome those level 1 exhibitors to the world shows, that it is very much welcoming atmosphere.
You bet.
To where the level 1 exhibitors don't feel like they just been put off to the side and are any less important than the level 2 or level 3 exhibitors.
You bet.
I had this discussion with Shane and Julie Rux earlier today. You're going to see and they said, hey, we want to help with the level 1. What can we do? So you're going to see level 1 specific activities, level 1 specific giveaways to make that group feel welcome and part of their world shows. And what what a better way than to bring those grassroots exhibitors to the World Show, let them feel that atmosphere, see what the level 2 and level 3 exhibitors are doing, and learn from that. So I think there's opportunities there. There's opportunities with our pro horsemen to reach out to them. So really positive all the way around.
I have a question. So can the level 1 riders show in the level 2 also?
They could. Yes, sir. Especially this year because there's wave qualifying.
Right.
So you would have the opportunity, if you were there as an L1, to try an L2 class.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. I'm thinking the same thing. Well, I drove all this way. I might as well try to be a 2 also, right? Yep. Take another stab at it, you know. So I see a lot of potential with that.
What a great wheel you guys have in motion here. You know, all the changes you're talking about at the World Shows, and now you're bringing in potentially a whole new level of or new eyeball of exhibitors that have not ever been to a World Show, and so they're coming in and they're receiving this concierge service. They may have never been to Oklahoma City or to any of the other World Shows, to Fort Worth or whatever. So what an awesome opportunity AQHA has, and I think we have as exhibitors to try to make those new level 1s that have never been at a World Show, let them feel welcome there as well, right? It's not just AQHA's job, but it's all of our job as trainers, coaches, exhibitors to help those level 1s feel welcome as well.
Well said.
And I think there's a lot of opportunity, you know, like Ask the Pro stuff, all our professional horsemen, like you're saying, to do some stuff there while we're there to help some of those level 1s, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I see a lot of potential for that. So along with that, can you kind of tell me some other stuff, like when we were talking about like the commentary about just the World Show itself and how that go, like, do they do that for youth events, or is it just for the open and amateur World Show that they do some talking?
That was introduced last year by our professional horseman and Karen McQuistion.
Right.
And it added a neat element to the classes to have our pros talking through the obstacles, say in the trail or the Western riding or say the reining event. It adds another element. It's almost like a sports feel where you have a broadcaster talking you through a football or a basketball game. So it's just elevating the experience for those that are watching at home. We've got upwards of 100,000 people watch the live stream from the World Show. Awesome. So it's nice to add that element, promote the professional horseman program, and something that we would love to do more of.
Like, I'm going to help this part. It's funny because, like, I'm just going to use my NBA app, right? When I get on my NBA app and they just show me the broadcast, or they just show me the game, and there's no one talking, it has a funny look to it. But then when I put my headsets on and listen to the radio broadcast and watch the live feed, it comes alive. The event comes alive.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge for you guys to do that and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very well received. We had people all over the world making comments about that.
How about like, I think Patty touched on the 3 extra classes that are coming in: the Working Hunter Under Saddle, the Ranch Trail, the Western Dressage, and then there's another class or 2 you said that are going to happen at the World Show this year? Well,
we've got let me back up a little bit. We've got 6 new classes coming down the pike, and those classes were approved at convention by the members, in some of them a couple years back, and through the transition of the new computer system, we've not been able to deliver them yet. What I can tell you is we have used our time of not being at the level 1s to bear down and challenge ourselves as shows and as the IT department to have those 6 new classes ready to go, so that when shows start back up, we can say, hey, we've got those 6 classes you passed at convention. We now have programmed, and you can offer them at your events. So you'll see communication going out to our show managers and secretaries first to let them know what that process looks like to add a new class like the Working Hunter Under Saddle, like the Western Dressage, like the Ranch Trail, for example, to their shows. For the championship shows, I can tell you that we're going to have the Working Hunter Under Saddle as a stakes class at this year's World Show, and something that we're excited to introduce. Laney DeBoer and Jerry Erickson did an excellent job at the judges seminar teaching on the Working Hunter Under Saddle, and there's a lot of excitement around that class. The other classes as well, but that's an offering that you're going to see through AQH University that you'll be able to see that presentation that Laney and Jerry did and learn more about what's all involved in that particular class.
So we had this question earlier that we had talked about, and before we move away from the world shows, Annika Rear asked this: assuming the Level 1 Championships will go back to its usual schedule next year, they had previously announced that your Level 1 and rookie status would carry over to next year's shows. Is that still the plan?
So that announcement, we had to clarify that in the announcement that the eligibility actually would not carry over.
Okay.
So I don't know if that will be an issue though this year, because we are able to offer those classes at the world shows. So that actually may not end up being an issue for us.
Awesome.
So how about the 3-year-old class? Did you say that?
Oh yeah. That's one of the exciting new classes at the world show.
Right.
It was recently announced. You're going to see Zameta. They are I believe the first FDA approved product to treat fever in horses. And you're going to see a 3-year-old Western pleasure class for the first time ever held at this year's World Championship show. There's $5,000 to kick it off and added money. And that class is part of the new Western Pleasure series. And what that's going to allow you to do is you take the 3-year-old class, and then you take 2 placings from any 2 other open classes, whether that be the 2-year-old pleasure, the junior pleasure, or the senior pleasure. You combine your 3-year-old score with 2 other scores, and that's your composite. So it's a way to way to promote the 3-year-old class at the World Show, and something exciting that we've never been able to offer at an AQHA World Show.
Are you planning? Are you? Shorty asked, are you going to have to pay to get into the Coliseum, or are you still keeping it as it has been, I believe, the last however many years? Is there going to be admission to get into the World Show?
We've talked and we've tossed this around as a show team, and we've not arrived yet at a final decision. But we get from our members, again, when the members talk, we're trying to listen. But we hear frustration about the badge program, and we've talked about, should we look at transitioning that to maybe a parking program? And we're tossing that back and forth. We don't have a definitive answer there yet, but it's certainly something that we're talking about.
Okay.
How about I'm going to kind of go toward the summary here, is like the things, your vision, the things that have improved at AQHA. What do you see exciting for us to look for in the future here?
Oh, that gets me pumped just talking about. So,
right.
Yeah, outside of the World Show improvements that I mentioned, so another part of the show department's restructure was the sanctioned show area. So AQHA, and this blew my mind when I started, the association approves 2,800 shows in it's 32 countries, I believe, and nearly 1 million entries a year flow through the show department. Melinda Ackley's team, she's got an excellent group that works for her and processes those shows, those 2,800 in some shows, and the nearly 1 million entries. Still, it blows my mind to think about that and the reach of the association. So what you're going to see is a lot of focus on improving our service. We've got about 400 certified show managers and secretaries that are responsible for those 2,800 shows. So you're going to see process improvements from AQHA and us doing a better job serving those secretaries and managers, and a lot of automation and moving online and moving to self-service.
Love that word,
automation. There's just a small percent of AQHA paperwork that's done online now, and we're trying. It's only a couple percent. We're trying to reverse that and make the vast majority of transactions happen online and just a handful by paper. Currently, that's not the case. And from the show team perspective, the application process is by hand. Show results, we'll get, even from a top 10 show, we'll get a box of show results shipped to AQHA, and you've got team members going judge card by judge card, inputting results into the system. And we're wanting to move away from that and away from paper in its entirety to where the approval process is online. the computer's doing the checks for us automatically. There's not multiple weeks delay for managers and secretaries to hear back on approvals. The show results, if you compete at an AQHA approved show now, there's about 30 days by the time the manager gets the results to the office and we as a show team process the results. We want to turn that to nearly real time so that as you compete and jump in your truck and drive home, you're seeing yourself move up or down on the leaderboard based on how the show went that weekend. So creating more engagement, populating real-time leaderboards, and moving much more towards automation and self-service online is something you're going to see not only from the show department, but from AQHA as a whole. And
I'm just going to stop for a second here. I think it's interesting that, here goes to our show. Our show is this platform that, wow, this is so much information tonight, right? And AQHA can do it too. But I mean, here we are at 7 or 8 o'clock, depending on what time zone you're at, and we're all like learning about everything about AQHA that's changing, getting better, hope, and then there's a lot of the staffers on AQHA are helping us on the questions. It's just amazing what we're doing tonight. It's huge. It's huge.
I how much I like. I mean, look at all the music and stuff that I play with here on this show, but I love the excitement. And when you're talking about how you're getting everything so digital friendly to where we can keep up to date stats or results or where you are on the leaderboard, and it's like really current. That's exciting to me. I mean, that wants to keep me engaged and wants me to keep going back and looking instead of like, well, you know what, I'll just check back in a day or a week or 30 days or whatever. So that kind of stuff truly, for me, gets me really pumped up.
Yeah, likewise. So we got a fourth area of the show department is budget and contracts. So we welcome Ashley Aragon. She came to the team right when coronavirus kicked off. So it was the oddest way to onboard a new employee. It was me and Ashley and then an empty building in Amarillo. And I told Ashley, I said, well, normally there's 200 plus people here to welcome you. But I said, just you only get me today. So she's been working remotely and within her first week had a presentation for the executive committee on championship show financials and knocked it out of the park. And she's going to help us better manage the money that flows in and out of the show department. And we take that very seriously. We understand that we're stewards of the members' money. And Ashley's got an MBA. She's a budget hawk. She's going to, she already has been all over the money moving in and out of the show department, several $1 million a year. And we're thankful to have Ashley, thankful to have her help on the budget and contract side of shows.
Awesome.
So I had two questions. Patty just gave us a question, but did you get a new office? And then what part of your new job takes up the most time and that you have to really focus on? That's just every day or every week, there's a lot to keep your eyes on.
So we all got new offices, actually. So the show department changed floors, and we all got new homes. Certainly not a fancy corner office at all, but the whole show team got new offices. And go ahead, Tim.
I have this question about the jackpot online.
So we offer jackpots now at the level 1 championships.
Really?
And
I didn't know that.
We do. It pushes I want to say 40 to 50,000 at the level 1s in jackpot money. So something that's been very popular at the open show level too, and something that you may see making an appearance at the championship shows too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sound of that.
Yeah.
So, is there any other vision or direction that I'm going to take you here? I'm almost done here. So, like, here is your platform that, I'm so proud of you. It's funny, I'm interviewing my boss, and I respect you so much, and you're doing such a great job. And I love working with you. You're a very easy guy to work for, and you let me do my thing, and I give you my information, and I'm you're always supporting me, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Tim. That's very kind. I appreciate that and take it to heart. And it's truly a team effort. And I think it's about having the right people on the bus and then getting out of their way and let them do their jobs. And I think my role is to ensure the team's success. So I think once you get the right people there, then it's my job to help move obstacles out of their way and make sure that the show department is set up for success. So that's what I wake up every morning. What I think about at night is how can I position the team to be the most successful possible, and know that when the team's successful, the members benefit, the association benefits, and it becomes full circle. So I spend my time thinking about that. I spend my time thinking about innovation and how can we move the needle as a show department so that AQHA, the show program, is around for many generations to come. And for what it meant to me growing up as a kid, it shaped me into the person I am today. And I want that for the next generation and the generation after that.
Right. Well said. Well said.
Sure.
And again, I just feel like we're in great hands, Tim.
Yeah, for sure. I love working for Justin. I'll do my thing, so it's all good.
I've not ever worked for him, but I think the first time he was, I don't know if we were riding late at night at the Youth World or Open World or Amateur or something like that, and he was up there, and he started playing some music in the arena while we were riding. I'm like, I like this Justin guy. I love music. And then I found out that he loves music, so it's great. I love it.
Yeah, you can't take life too seriously. You got to be able to laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more thing. We need to cook something in your oven.
Well, next time you're in Amarillo, you were invited to come over.
Yeah, we're gonna cook at your house. That's what I decided. So
I also heard you have a birthday at every time you go out to eat. You have a birthday.
I don't. Someone that I'm with does. Yes.
Wow.
Patty's had a birthday. Karen's had a birthday. Kim from ranching. So yes, that is that's a running joke that I play on the team.
We had Gino's birthday last night. We had Brad's Jude on Tuesday. So we got a lot of birthday boys over here. So it's all good. Well, I surely appreciate you coming tonight. Like, I learned a lot. I learned a lot every night, but I really appreciate you coming doing this. You're the head guy. So
you bet.
Wow. Hey, it's a collective effort. I hear it's so cliche, we're all in this together, but we really are. I mean, we really are a collective community, and it's neat to be part of it. I'm so appreciative for the support, and excited about what the future has in store for AQHA and the horse industry, and grateful to have a part and have a hand in that. Bradford, maybe I'm going to throw one more question. I'm going to go there. Okay. So,
all right.
It's a tough one. What do you think about the virus? Where do you think we're at with this? What do you hear on your side? Oh my goodness. I tell you what, I was on a call this afternoon with, it was a collective group. We had Billy Smith with the Paint Horse Association. We had our leader, Craig Huffines from AQHA. We had Gary Carpenter from NRHA. We had several facility managers, Oklahoma City, Fort Worth. We had some show managers with us, had Ms. Kathy Avold. We had the AQHA show team on the call as well. And we were talking about what a return to shows could look like, and how we collectively as an equine industry need to come together and have some sense of continuity between us as we roll out events and horse shows. And what does that look like? Are you going to be trotting up in the showmanship with a mask on?
Right.
Is the judge you're approaching going to be wearing a mask as well? Are there social distancing requirements?
Right.
And something that we shared, there's also a handful of government officials on the call as well. Something that we shared with them is, look, a horse show is not a rodeo or a concert in the sense that you expect
audience.
thousands of people gathered together watching. Yes, there's quite a few people, but they're spread all throughout the grounds in different arenas.
Yeah.
They're in the barn area. They're in the show pen. So the Texas Ag Department, we're going to advance that to their leadership to let them know maybe we need to look at horse shows differently and the restrictions that a return to horse shows could entail.
Mm-hmm.
I keep up with the White House briefings, and you hear that maybe June is the time that we can start returning to some sense of normalcy. So I can tell you, our show team, we cannot wait to get back to a horse show.
Right.
We like everyone on here tonight, we are itching to go to a show. So anytime we have to make a difficult decision and cancel an event, it weighs on us heavily, and certainly not something that we want to do. And we hope we are in a position soon that will allow us to hold those shows.
The only one I would say is put a mask on Gino so he's not so loud. That's the only one I would say.
Good luck with that.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for answering that one. That was a tough question. I apologize, but okay. I'm good. I'm good, Bradford. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. We're going to let you enjoy the rest of your Ohio night. I know you're an hour behind us, or ahead of us there.
Ahead of us.
But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Justin. Super
There's
appreciate
been
it.
so many other questions on here tonight that we haven't gotten to, but I am sure that Justin, AQHA, whoever be that goes back through and looks at those questions, there will be answers that come out. So just keep checking your Facebook for those updates, and I know that they'll do a great job of getting all the information out that needs to be gotten out.
Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Justin.
Appreciate you. Thanks for what you're doing.
You bet, man. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Okay.
All right, Justin. Thank you.
Good night.
This has been a Kona Cam production.
Good job.
Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.